Chapter 36 Clang. The ladle clattered into the glass jar, the sound making John Lee turn his head. The elf, with his jade green eyes, stared at him unblinkingly. John Lee paused. Mr. Mazzurno, how did you do it? Mazzurno reached out, and John Lee, momentarily stunned, handed him the ice flower he'd just crafted. The elf held the delicate flower, formed entirely by magic, so intricate it seemed naturally grown, though its translucent sheen betrayed its artificial nature. He gazed at it in disbelief, muttering, "You actually did it? Didn't you teach me?" John Lee sighed. "You told me not to think about water, just form ice directly. I followed your advice, thanks to you. I'd been stuck on this for days. Without your guidance, I wouldn't have figured it out." Mazzurno. The ice flower was cold to the touch, its stem even replicating the tiniest nodules with uncanny precision. "How?" he said slowly. "Did you make it so lifelike?" John Lee. "That is thanks to you too, Mazzurno." "Me?" John Lee nodded matter-of-factly. "You showed me how earlier. I kept picturing the flower you made while casting the spell. If it had been a different plant, I wouldn't have gotten it this close." Mazzurno. "Was it because of him?" Having solved the major hurdle, John Lee clapped his hands and stood, heading to the supermarket entrance to craft ice sculptures. He'd long envied the ice sculptures in the Central Plaza and wanted one for himself, but he'd struggled with the magic for days. Now, with the problem cracked, he gleefully began sculpting at the entrance. Through the glass door, Mazzurno watched as John Lee wielded magic, erecting a row of bizarrely shaped ice sculptures that filled the space outside the door. Unsatisfied, he even hung clinking ice ornaments on the rainbow succulent tree. The elf silently observed the young human, his gaze lingering. After a long moment, he looked away. Silver lashes cast him a faint shadow. He toyed with the delicate ice flower, its crystalline petals refracting sunlight like a gem. Incredible, he thought, an incredible talent. A beginner, still learning basic magic, yet effortlessly achieving feats only seasoned mages could manage. When he taught John Lee, he never imagined the human could reach this level, which made the result all the more shocking. No, he'd been shocked before. During their duel, John Lee had attacked with a basic fireball spell. Basic magic was called that because it was easy for novices to master. But John Lee's fireball far surpassed that category. Its destructive power broke through even Mazzurno's defenses. John Lee himself might not have realized, but his fireball outclassed most mages' signature moves. A beginner. Mazzurno glanced at the young human outside, beaming with joy over his successful ice sculptures. With such terrifying talent, how far could he have gone if he'd started learning magic as a child? The elf picked up the ladle again, scooping a spoonful of juice orange pulp, savoring the sweet burst of flavor. After finishing the sculptures, John Lee returned, brimming with excitement. "Mr. Mazzurno, thank you so much." He glanced at the nearly empty orange jar, now just syrup, and said warmly, "Need me to grab another?" "No need." The elf stood gracefully, adjusting the edges of his gray cloak. "Once I earn some money, I'll come back to buy more." "All right, come back anytime." John Lee returned to the counter, picking up the magic book he'd been reading. Something occurred to him, and he called out to the elf about to leave. "Mr. Mazzurno, can I ask you for help again later?" "Mazzurno HM?" John Lee looked a bit sheepish. The problems stumping him were all basic, and asking a silver-haired elf for help with such simple questions felt like overkill, but he had no one else to turn to. Door City's mages all mistook him for a powerful wizard, and only the elf knew his true skill level. Posing as a great mage hid the supermarket, as mysteries and protected him from ill-intentioned people. Chumley had no plans to clarify the misconception, and thankfully, the elf hadn't exposed him out of spite after their duel. Improving his skills was crucial, and having someone to answer his magic-related questions would speed up his progress. Chumley said, "If you're willing, you can pick anything from the supermarket for free. I don't have much else to offer. Or would you accept tuition fees?" Mazzurno thought for a moment. "One question, one." "No, 2 bags of potato chips." Chumley blinked. "Potato chips? That simple?" Mazzurno gave an address Chris and his group as please. At the adventurer's insistence, the elf was still staying in their guest room. "Until I leave Dark City, you can bring your questions and potato chips to find me there," he said, "but I might not always be around." Chumley nodded, jotting down the address. "How long will you stay in Dark City?" Mazzurno shook his head. He wasn't sure himself. His stay in Dark City was temporary, only because he hadn't heard of another formidable mage to challenge. In truth, he really lingered in human cities. Incasts were one issue, but elves also weren't fond of humans. Most of his time was spent traveling to find his next opponent. Powerful mages didn't cluster together. Some lived in the east, others in the west, on mountains, or in abysses. "Potato strips," he said faintly. "Once I learn how to make potato strips, I'll leave." Watching the elf's retreating figure, Chumley, "You really love potatoes, don't you?" Evening, after sending off the last customer, Chumley glanced at the vibrant sunset through the glass door, then closed the supermarket early. Normally, his store stayed open late, but this was the first time he'd closed early for something important. He wheeled out a tricycle from the courtyard, loaded it with a stove and ingredients prepared that afternoon, then eagerly flipped the hourglass to head to the other world, Dark City, as winter snow festival had begun. Chumley had reserved the stall for the festival, and today was its opening day. According to Augustus, the festival lasted 3 days, with a grand banquet at the city lord's mansion, for which they pre-ordered drinks and sent him an invitation. But to Chumley, no banquet could compare to the fun of running his own stall. He pushed the tricycle out, its wheels rolling over the shopping street as cobblestones, drawing curious glances. "Mr. Chumley, what is that you're riding? A carriage? It looks so strange. How does it move on its own?" "It's Mr. Chumley setting up a stall at the Winter Snow Festival." "What is he selling?" "More delicious food." At dusk, Dark City glowed under a warm yellow sunset, snow reflecting the orange hills, lanterns lit up, and the shopping street was adorned with festival decorations. Shopkeepers closed early, pushing wooden carts with goods toward the central plaza. The sky hadn't fully darkened, but the plaza was already bustling. Dark City as residents poured out of their homes, filling the square. Colorful flags fluttered, ice sculptures gleamed under torchlight, and near the central fountain, bars played harps while mages performed tricks for children. The quirky tricycle drew counter-size. By the time Chumley parked at his reserve stall and unloaded the stove, a crowd had already gathered. "What is Mr. Chumley selling today?" "My cousin at the city lord's mansion said it as a food not even sold in the supermarket, a new recipe." The crowd buzzed, craning their necks as he set up the stove. A bucket of batter, plates of sauces and toppings, a basket of eggs, and a crate of washed lettuce. He hung string lights on the stall, brightening the area. From the setup, no one could guess what he was making, but that didn't dampen their enthusiasm. Had anything from the supermarket ever disappointed? The person at the front waved the coin purse eagerly. "Boss Chumley, Give me one. Wait, one last step. Jumli pulled out a banner, magically hanging it above the stall, its ropes tying themselves. The crowd looked up. The banner, hand drawn by Jumli, featured simple food sketches. In the center, written in the continent as common time, were the words multigrain pancake, with the price listed beside it. Multigrain pancake? What is that? One silver coin per portion. The crowd's eyes widened in disbelief. So cheap. Boss Jumli, want to lose money? That lettuce is included too. In winter, such precious vegetables, and it as just one silver coin. Jumli smiled. I heard our city as winter snow festival is lively, so I am here to join the fun. Also, he admitted sheepishly to himself he was still making a profit. He picked up a scraper, asked him eagerly, who wants one? He did practice at home and could make perfectly round pancakes now. The crowd responded in unison. Me. I want one. I want one too. The stove had heated the flat griddle. Jumli scooped a little of batter, carefully spreading it with the scraper to cover the surface, scraping off excess. He flipped it, cracked an egg, sprinkled green onions and pickled vegetables, folded it, brushed on sauce. What sauce? He asked the first customer. Sweet bean paste or spicy bean paste? Huh? The customer blinked. Both sounded unfamiliar. Hesitantly, he said, as sweet, I guess. Great choice. Jumli praised. Sweet bean paste is the best. You've got good taste. Oh really? The ladle spread dark brown sauce on the pancake. The aroma of toasted multigrain batter wafted out. He added crisp sheets, lettuce, pork loin, and ham. Since it was a fixed price, he didn't let customers choose toppings. Everything went in. The crowd watched. Why that? As a scoop of plain batter transformed in moments into a fragrant dish, it's irresistible. The aroma hit the waiting customers, who grew restless, pushing forward eagerly. The first customer carefully took his multigrain pancake. The spatula sliced it in half, revealing golden pancake wrapped around pork and crisp lettuce, a tempting mix of red, yellow, and green. The aroma flooded his senses, making his mouth water just from the smell. He took a big bite, unable to wait, so fragrant. It tasted even better than it smelled. The customer chewed eagerly. The pancake, made from who knows what, was more fragrant than regular flour, crisp yet chewy. The sweet bean paste amplified the grainy aroma, making it richer. The crunchy sheet, tender pork, crisp lettuce, green onions, and pickled vegetables. One bite combined countless flavors, layers of taste pulling him into a trap of delicious magic. How could it be this good? Was there really no flavor-enhancing magic in this? He finished the pancake quickly, exclaiming as he pulled out more silver coins. 5 more, please. Jumli, busy making the next pancake, said, sorry, please rejoin the queue if you already bought one. What? Before the first customer could react, others pushed him out of the line. You had your turn back to the end. Me. I was second. Boss Jumli, my turn. Boss Jumli, can we buy more than one? One is not enough. The last question was shot down by the crowd before Jumli could answer. If everyone bought multiple, when would they get their turn? Jumli worked tirelessly, the pancake-ass aroma spreading. Soon, the entire plaza, every resident of Dar City knew the supermarket owner had brought a delicious new food to the festival. Word spread like wildfire. The sun set, and the sky darkened. Stars twinkling above, snow and firelight illuminated the plaza like daylight. As night fell, Dar City came alive. Music filled the air. Residents reveled in the festive joy, and Jumli's stall stayed packed. Jumli, one pancake, sweet sauce, no green onions. A silver coin clinked into the coin bowl. Got it. Glancing at the dazzling figure, Jomly looked up and saw the young city lord of Dark City. Augustus, what are you doing here? The blonde noble was dressed extravagantly, in a silk suit adorned with gemstones, sparkling brighter than his golden hair. He looked out of place, better suited for a grand ballroom than a street stall. In fact, he was supposed to be at a banquet. I heard from the guards you were selling new food at the plaza, Augustus said, his blue eyes gleaming with pancake-shaped anticipation. As a loyal supermarket customer, how could I miss this? Jomly was touched, adding an extra slice of pork to his pancake. Handed the piping hot pancake, Augustus didn't linger. A banquet hall full of guests awaited, making way for others. He asked before leaving, Jomly, will you visit the castle tonight? The guests praised your wine. Nah, Jomly said, flipping a pancake. Have fun. The blonde noble laughed reluctantly. He took a bite, and the soul-shaking flavor made him pause. The rich green aroma, crisp lettuce, sweet salty sauce. The flavors bound his steps like invisible tendrils, tempting him to stay like a serenade song. If not for the waiting guests, Augustus would have rejoined the queue. He mounted his horse. The winter night as chill dispersing the lingering aroma. Maybe he did convince his father to end the banquet early. Repetitive work dulled Jomly's initial excitement. His arms growing sore, reaching for the ad basket and finding it empty, he froze. Sorry, we ran out of eggs. That's it for today. The crowd sighed in disappointment. A voice piped up. I saw someone selling eggs over there. Buzzed Jomly. I'll get you some. Yeah, I can help too. The other warders were eager to help. Before Jomly could ask, a basket of eggs was delivered to him. Jomly, looking at the scraper and the new eggs, inspiration struck. Magic flowed instinctively. The scraper lifting from his hand, the batter bucket as ladle scooping batter onto the griddle. Jomly pulled out a stool. He'd almost forgotten he was a mage now. Edges cracked themselves. Pickled vegetables and green onions fell like snow. Sweet sauce spread evenly. Lettuce and crisp cheese lined up, and the golden pancake folded, packed itself, and flew to customers' hands. He'd mastered object manipulation magic while organizing the supermarket, so he could manage the stall and chat with customers simultaneously. Eh, Mr. Jomly? Chris and his companions squeezed in. As wide at the scene, are you selling magical food? A companion asked. Irene, why don't you use magic to cook? Irene clenched her fists. You think every mage is as incredible as Mr. Jomly. And magic doesn't automatically make food tasty. It has multi-grain pancakes, Jomly said. Want one? Chris, of course. 6 pancakes. One without meat, no meat. Jomly peered into the crowd, spotting a silver-haired figure standing apart, keeping a polite distance from others. It took a lot to convince Mr. Mazzurno to come out, Chris said. It has the winter snow festival, but he wanted to leave the city for a mission. Beasts conveyed missing such a lively festival would be a shame. Despite the festive chill, the elf remained aloof, frequently glancing toward the city gates, as if thinking of the beasts outside. The no egg, no meat pancake was ready first. Chris called, Mr. Mazzurno, come try the pancake. Mazzurno turned, meeting Jomly's gaze. After a moment's thought, he approached. He didn't take the pancake immediately, instead asking, what are you doing here? His tone sounded almost accusatory, puzzling Jomly. As you can see, I am selling pancakes. Mazzurno had seen the magic-driven pancake making, but it only deepened his confusion. If Jomly was so eager to learn magic, shouldn't he devote all his time to studying it? When the young human asked for guidance, Mazzurno assumed that was his intent. Jomly had missed the ideal age for learning magic, but with his talent, intense effort could still make him a top mage in the Lalan continent, perhaps even a worthy opponent. Human lifespans were so short, shouldn't he avoid wasting time on irrelevant things? Food, at its core, was just sustenance. Why spend so much effort on it? A fragrant pancake was handed to Mazzurno, its witty aroma teasing his nose. He lowered his eyes, the fresh lettuce gleaming temptingly. Chris, this is a vegan pancake. No meat, Mazzurno. Chris, Mr. Mazzurno? Mazzurno. The elf took the pancake, stepped him aside silently. He tasted it, and unlike potatoes, this was a cuisine he'd never encountered. The chewy pancake, the sweet sauce, it was the first in his long life, unbelievably delicious. And did lettuce, such fresh lettuce in winter, had it been magically grown? The black-haired human used magic to run the stall, crafting one fragrant pancake after another in the entire plaza. He was the only vendor cooking with magic, the only mage using magic for food. What is this sauce? Mazzurno asked. Jomly. Made pancake, replied. Sweet bean paste. The salty one as spicy bean paste, made from soybeans. Want to try it? Why study this? What? The elf looked at him quietly, voicing his confusion. I thought you were passionate about magic. In the supermarket, he was always reading magic books. I am, Jomly said. I am very curious. Then why do these unnecessary things? Unnecessary? If you put this effort into magic, you could be much stronger. Jomly countered. Mr. Mazzurno, aren't the pancakes delicious? Mazzurno. He took a silent bite. The pancake was, indeed, delicious, even better than potatoes. Dark City as a winter snow festival happens once a year. It is my first time attending. If I didn't come today, I'd have to wait until next year. Wouldn't that be a pity? Jomly said cheerfully. Magic is great, but other things are great too. If I hadn't come tonight, no one would get to eat these tasty pancakes. The person who invented multigrain pancakes is as amazing as any mage. Mazzurno. He had more questions, but Jomly's simple words left him speechless. The pancake's aroma stirred a distant memory. It was so long ago that Mazzurno hadn't recalled it in ages. As it surfaced now, he froze slightly. Time was silent, and a long life could fade countless memories, like words written in sand, washed away by the tide without a trace. So distant that the human's face was a blur, their name forgotten, all that remained were fragmented. Hazy words, surging like a writhing tide. Challenging me? No problem. You're an elf? A warlike elf like you is rare. Don't elves love plants? How can you eat raw vegetables every day without flinching? What? For a whole month? You elves are terrifying. You defeated another mage? What? Bran, the legendary genius. Human lives are short, but we really like endless ways. Someone stronger will always appear. Elves live long, you LLC. Someone will take my place and beat you. Mazzurno. Besides magic, what do you like? Your only hobby is magic. Alright. Human lives are too short. If we don't seize the moment, we die before we can challenge everything. Sorry, our lifespans are so brief. Mazzurno. With such a long life, why not pause sometimes? Besides magic, the world has so many wonders: the sound of the wind, the flow of water, watching a seed grow into a tree, observing kingfishers thrive. Aren't those fascinating? Next time you visit, I might. Alright, I believe you LL win. Unknowingly, he finished the pancake, leaving an empty wrapper, the scent lingering on his fingertips. Lost in thought, another pancake was handed to him, its golden green hues exuding an appetizing aroma. The elf looked up, seeing the black-haired human smiling at him. This one has got spicy bean paste. Try the difference. I don't have money, he said. Chumley waved it off. No worries. It has on me. It has like prepaid tuition. Besides, a meat pancake is 1 silver coin. Yours, with no egg or meat, shouldn't it cost that much? Have a few more. After a long hesitation, the elf accepted. The sweet paste pancake was delicious, and the spicy paste version had its own charm. He suddenly thought me fit as these two sauces. The Ray was studying. He paused his pursuit of magic to learn their recipes. Mazerno lifted his gaze, studying the black-haired human. He stared so long that Chumley grew uneasy, unable to ignore the intense gaze. Slowing his pancake-making on, Chumley turned slowly, sweating. Is something wrong? Too expensive? How about I give you another free one? The elf said abruptly. With your talent, you might become a mage capable of defeating me. Caught off guard by the praise, Chumley was flattered. Really? Thanks. Assuming he didn't waste his talent on self-study, struggling with basics, or repeating simple spells, the elf pondered. Then asked, if I become your teacher and train you into the continent as greatest mage, when you reach near death, will you fight me again? Ha! No one else might succeed. In the Lalan continent, no one as stronger than me. Chumley sweated profusely. Talking about that now feels a bit premature. Don't worry, I'll live long, Mazerno said calmly. As your teacher, after you die, I'll find a good place to bury you and protect your grave from vandals if needed. I'll visit often, if I remember. Chumley